Hello my friends, I'm outside today in between thunderstorms trying to get some bees into a box. I have a nuke here behind me that's a couple of weeks overdue for a box. I've been busy with other things and yeah, they're just going nuts today trying to get out and do stuff while they can, like I said, between thunderstorms. So I'm just going to show you real quickly how easy it is to install a nuke or to start a new hive. This would be like for your first time beekeepers. You know, you purchase some bees, what equipment do you need, and setting it up. So this won't be all the equipment you need for a full season, because remember, when you're starting out with bees, you're going to also have to consider your honey harvest, right? So you'll need extra boxes for honey and extra frames for that. And you also have to consider winterizing, so depending on what you're doing or what your climate is, that could be a quilt box, another piece of equipment, or some insulation or whatever it is. But don't forget that when you're watching a nuke installation, or a bee nucleus, which is a small colony of bees, a nucleus of a large colony, it will go into a hive body. Right? So you see install a nuke, and you'll see the bees being put into a single box, and the lid and the inner cover and the base and all that, entrance reducer and that equipment. But just remember, there's always a little bit more equipment. You have to think of the full season and everything you'll need, and that's the equipment you need to start. This video will not be about that. I'll just be because I'm not out here to make a video, I'm out here trying to get this done. And I thought I better make a video because it's useful. You know, this is how you start off. So I'll grab some equipment, and for a nucleus or a small colony, they will not be aggressive with you. Just think of them as one animal. All the bees are just one animal, and if it's a small colony, it's like, you know, like, I don't know, I was going to use one of the small dogs as an analogy, but they will pick fights with you. But just think of it as a small animal, and you're a large animal. It's not going to want to pick a fight with you because it's not confident in its strength, right? Or ability to fight with you. And if you think of it like that, don't be afraid of the small colonies. You'll get stung if you squish a bee with your hands or whatever. So if you are dealing with them, you don't need the full suit, but if you want to put on gloves, that's fine too. But also remember, it's good to get stung once in a while. If you're exposed to the proteins and not getting stung, you'll develop allergies, and that will make beekeeping no fun at all. So yeah, let's do this. I don't have much time. It could rain any minute. And as you can see behind me, I don't know how well, but plenty of bees. They need a bigger home. Alright, so when you're installing a nuke, you get it in a box, either be wood or plastic or whatever comes in. Sit it next to or where you will be installing them. So any bees that are flying around, you know, they'll have an easy time, right? They'll get acclimated to that spot, and then when you put them in a hive body, it won't be a large move, right? Like, I don't know what the thing is. It's either the saying, there's a saying in beekeeping, it's 3 feet or 3 miles. So you want to keep it in a short area. Now it doesn't have to be just exactly 3 feet or whatever. I could have the box here and set them up behind the camera on the other side, which would be like 4 or 5 feet, right? They'll find their way, and if they don't, they'll migrate into another hive body, which is fine. It's just the older bees that are out foraging. So the weather is kind of shitty. I will probably put on gloves, and yeah, let's get going. The first thing you need is, of course, a base for the hive. Now, these are all sold out. It's called a bottom board. I'm going to get it in the camera better. This is one of my older boards from a place. It was wax, but it had like mold spores on it or something. So what I've done is scraped it as best I could, and then I took a fire right? Propane, little propane torch, and I cleaned it up. It doesn't look that clean, but that's beekeeping. The bees will cover stuff with the propolis, and generally you get a mess on things. So that's your bottom board. This is what the hive will sit on. Now it's cut, so you can put it this way up or this way up, and all that is, that's your bee space. You can put it on that side. An entrance reducer won't fit. The bees can still get in and out. I've never used that side for anything. I put it on this side. Gives the bees more room in the summer, more ventilation, and it fits a entrance reducer, which may not fit on here. I got propolis buildup and stuff. We'll see how that goes. I'm not going to put an entrance reducer on. I'm already midsummer here doing this. If you're installing a nuke in the spring, put an entrance reducer on. An entrance reducer is just a piece of wood that is going to block the entrance, and you'll have cutaways so you can choose how large the entrance is. You want it very small. A small colony, you only need a small entrance. Keeps them feeling secured. They don't have to waste resources on defense of the entrance. But yeah, it fits into the thing and reduces the entrance. I will not be using that. Today it's not so hot, but yeah, the forecast is going to be very hot. Maybe not as hot as Ohio. Feeling for you there, brother. So this is a beehive. When you hear beehive, it refers to the equipment. Okay, so this is a hive body, and in this case, you can see this is a deep. So this is a single deep hive body. The bees are the colony. So when someone asks you how many hives you have, or when you ask someone how many hives they have, and they give you an answer, they're telling you how much equipment they have that could house bees, not the bees. So if you want to know how many bees your friend the beekeeper has, ask them how many colonies they have. The colony is the bees, the hive is the wooden or styrofoam or whatever they're making them out of now, physical body. So you need 2 deeps to overwinter here in Alberta. Some people run single deeps, but that's more of a commercial thing. That's less of a benefit to the bees. That's where you see people losing a lot of bees over winter. If they have 2 hive bodies, they have enough resources for winter. So now it's midsummer, I don't have much time left, so I really have to get these bees in here and give them resources. So there's already frames in the nuke. We'll be installing the nuke. So you're going to need some blank frames. It's a 10 frame hive body. You get 5 with the nucleus. So you'll also have to purchase extra frames. It's a good idea to always have more than you need to. So you'll need 2 of these hive bodies and 20 frames. And I'll give you a few extra frames, which like this summer's a really good season. I thought I had extra equipment to last, you know, through next season and such, but I'm using it all to capture honey, so it's always a good idea to buy extra. Alright, so basically what I'm going to do, okay, also, this is going to be a little different than the simple nuke installation, because it is midsummer and the bees are producing drones, sorry. I'm going to put in a drone frame. All this has larger cells than a regular frame. So when they draw the wax out on it, I don't know if I got this in the camera right. When they draw the wax out on it, the large cell will develop a drone. smaller cells, they'll fill with honey or develop female bees. This simple biology, form equals function thing, I believe. So the larger cells. Now when I go to put on the second body, this will be in here for at least a week. I'm hoping it doesn't take long to fill this box. We're in the flow and there's clover everywhere around me right now. But I'll pull this frame out. It should have some drone on it, and then I can check the cap drone cells for mites, which will be a good indicator of what's going on this summer, because this nuke I made myself. They're my bees. They were treated this spring with some thymovar, which is thymol, an essential oil from the herb thyme, and it's highly effective on mites, completely organic, safe to use, but you don't want to use it around your honey, because then you'll be adding that spicy flavor of the thyme to the honey, and maybe not so pleasant if you want to sell it to people. So yeah, so it's very simple. I'm going to take the frames out of this box, put them in this box in the same order, and try not to disturb the bees as much as I can. I don't really like using gloves, so let's see. They're flying around, quite active, and I really don't want to get stung. Gloves are good because it's your hands that are moving back and forth, so if you are going to get stung, it'll probably be your hands. Where did I put my gloves? And yeah, the only other equipment you need is an inner cover. This is going to go on top. Now this is a deep inner cover for winter, so it kind of serves two purposes. But it goes on top. Now you can add insulation in here till winter. A lot of inner covers will have a hole for feed. I don't do sugar feed as such. I'll only use fondant as an emergency feed in the winter if I have to, because of course I want my bees to survive. Right, so it has an entrance on top to the inner covers. So what this does is hold the lid up and provide another entrance. That cutaway you see in the camera, probably not very well. Bright out here, I'm not even sure the camera's showing any of this. Let's hope it does. And then I got a lid. You can use various kinds of lids, right? This is a Bee Smart. Let's see if I can, my awkwardness, get it in the camera. Bee Smart. It's supposed to last forever, right? Add some extra ventilation. I thought I'd check it out, and they were out of stock on the regular ones. It doesn't really matter, you can just cut a piece of plywood if you want it. As long as it doesn't leak water into the hive body and onto the colony, you're good to go. You make your own stuff. Save you some money. Plywood is fine, just make sure it overhangs, or you have an overhang over where your bees are sitting. So I'm just going to slap on some gloves here. It's going to be a long day, I got a lot to do, and it's easier to do without my hand all swelling up. And that's another thing too, if I get stung somewhere else. I'm also breaking a big rule too. I'm wearing a pull-on or whatever. I don't have it done up, so loose clothing, right? If you think about it, the bees can get up in stuff and then sting you, so don't be like me and okay, so I don't know how well you can see that. Oh, what a mess. I might have to go suit up for this. That's a lot of bees. So yeah, if you ever want to buy a nuke off me, this is what you'll get. Just loaded and packed with bees. All my splits were successful. And this was my smallest of them all. The other ones are already in 2 deep hive bodies. Right, full hives. Yeah, there's an example of Terrifier incorporated bee nucleus from Half Moon Garden Apiaries here. So I'm going to close that up. I'm going to suit up and I'll be right back. Alright, I went and suited up here. Just thought it'd be a better idea because there are so many bees. Just the camera any better. The sun came out a bit, now I can't see anything in the LCD screen there. I don't even know if I'm recording. I don't really have time to mess with it because I need this to be done. So yeah, this box should have been transferred before now. It's a couple weeks full of bees. It'd be hard to pull the frames, just the first frame out. And of course be all awkward about it too. They're all going to come together. Yeah, so I'm pretty happy with my splits. And this was kind of like an experimentation in building nucs, which is much easier than I thought. So next year I should have some for sale. Sorry about this, everyone. This first frame is always so hard to get out. This box is so full of bees, I didn't leave myself much room. I don't want to be squishing anything. Yeah, if you don't have smoke, you can blow on them, but you better be suited up. Don't blow on them unless you have a suit on. Mostly I decided to put the suit on because it's bad weather. Bees are always a little bit more aggressive with bad weather, a little more anxious when you have their stuff open. It's so hard to get your fingers with the stupid gloves. So I don't like gloves. You end up killing bees because you're so clumsy with them. Well, like I said, I got lots of work to do, so I need to be not stung while I'm doing it. Watch the super clumsy beekeeper try to get frames out of the hive here, out of the nuke box. Man. All right. Yes, you got drones on the bottom frame, the bottom of the frame. See if I can get this into frame. So this was a full frame of honey I put in there. So they've used all the honey as a resource, and they are laying. There's normal brood, and on the very bottom is a little bit of drone brood. So that's good. It's looking good. And yeah, brood on the other side. So they removed the honey, added brood. Awesome. Okay, so just in case that was going to happen, where their resources are low because they're using it for brood. Since I am not just starting out beekeeping, I have some extra frames. This one was damaged by mice. All that space missing at the top of the frame by my thumbs. Mice chewed it off. Then I scraped it down to make sure there's no nasties. Mouse poops, there's a spider on it. But yeah, it's basically honey, crystallized honey that I couldn't extract, and I kept the frames. I'm just going to put that in there for some resources. They will clean that up and use that up. And yeah, now all the other frames should come out of here pretty easy. I really don't want to squish any bees. If I had a second camera or somewhere to put this one to get a better angle. And I'm pretty happy with the effort it took to start this nucleus and the result. I mean, if I bought this, I'd be happy. Leave in the comments, you know. Does this look like a good nucleus? Would you be happy if you received this? I tell you, here in Alberta, some people are receiving way worse, eh? Ordering from Hive World or some other nasty place. Yeah, so you can see under all those bees, that's solid brood. So this queen is laying beautiful. And on this side, if I get my big arm, little skinny arm out of the way, on this side, the brood's already been hatching, and in the process of hatching. So yeah, very happy with this queen. And again, this is a Kona queen. It's a company in Hawaii. They have a pretty good reputation with the bees. I don't know, I thought I pulled those out together. They should fit. This is why it's important to put the frames back in the order, or if they're really tight like this, you still put them back in the same order, but here I'll show you a trick. Okay, I'm not worried about doing this at all. What I'm about to show you, right, is when the bees do their thing, they do it so they leave space for themselves. But in this case, this box was running out of space, so they started building comb everywhere. Okay, you have tightly fitting. On this one, you have all this weird comb being built. It's full of honey, so I'm not going to mess with it right this minute. And then the two frames don't fit together so well. Put them still in the same order. We'll put a blank frame in there. And there's nothing built on it. It'll fit up nice and snug without squishing anything. Okay, and then they can build to fill in. Whoops. Without squishing anything, and then I go and squish bees. Sorry, buddy. Okay, you'll see that on other beekeeper stuff, and they'll call it like checkerboarding or something, right? You use it for various reasons, but it's great. Like say these frames had too much space between them, and the bees built it out thick. Or you're moving frames from a box with, like, what are they called? The only thing I can think of is a frame reducer. That's not right. It's like a metal plate you put in there, and you can reduce the number of frames to 8 or 9 or however, right? Spacer. It's like a frame spacer. Ah, yeah. I can go on for 10 minutes about what I don't know what I'm talking about. If you're moving frames from a box with 8 frames in it to a box with 10, right? The frames are going to be thicker, built out thicker. You can put in the blank ones in between to do a conversion. But yeah, so it's real easy. It's usually not. You're not going to let a nuke sit around as long as I did. Yeah, these frames are pretty light, they're all brood. Is that in the camera at all? I don't know. All cap brood. So yeah, this colony is about to pop. All that brood hatches, there's going to be a lot of bees. If I leave this in here much longer, it will swarm. They'll simply have to. They'll have too many bees, no room for them. the queen will fly off with most of the bees, and at this time of year that would be a bad plan. So again, I checkerboarded these frames just because of the extra column they have built up. These two should go on just fine, but everything I see looks good. Now, I didn't take too close a look at those cells to see if there was eggs, if she was back laying to where everything was hatched. Well, like I said, I don't have much time out here. Right now the sun is shining, so I just want to get this done. And I got other stuff to do. Oh yeah, what a beautiful queen. That's brood solid right from edge to edge. No cells wasted. It's all capped. Yeah, so within this week, this hive will be popping. I may even have to just put a... Which way did I take this out? I see lots of bees on there with pollen. Good stuff. It's going nice and slow. Never mind me. It's for the bees, not for the video. I can make a lot more videos, but I don't want to mess with the bees. And beekeeping is really a lot easier than you see on the channels that are opening and messing with them every week. Okay, that's not good for the bees. You know, the bees' life cycle and the seasonal cycles, you don't need to be opening it up all the time. You don't need to look all the time. Like here, I haven't even looked at all for the queen. I see evidence of her and I know what I'm looking at, so I mean, you don't get all that brood without queen laying it, for one. I like these boxes in some ways, but in other ways, I don't know. A little more space on the side. Maybe large enough to fit 6 frames and put some sort of blank in it or something. Yeah, it could just be the gloves. Alright, here we go. This is a honey frame. This one's heavy. This side, what are they doing? Okay, so on this side you got, see if I can get this. So they've used up the resource I put in here to start them off as a nucleus, and they have collected their own. So there's bee bread and pollen. There looks like in the bottom there. This half the frame here, they are fermenting honey with pollen to make bee bread. So there's actually like an active fermentation. All these bees here are like brewer bees. Hey? Isn't that cool? Alright, in you go. But yeah, you take a little bit of that, the bee bread, that's what they feed the baby worker bees. It is very healthy. It's fermented, so it's easy to digest and activates a bunch of enzymes and proteins to help you metabolize on a cellular level. Alright, help your cells get energy. How many? 3, 4, 5. Maybe one more frame. There is so much beneficial material in the beehive or that come with beekeeping for your health. Not just the honey. Okay, so again, you install, as you take out the frames from the nucleus, you install them in the same order. That's why they line up together nicely. The bees have built stuff to a certain tolerance, right? Certain width in between the frames and such, so they can move around and not be squished. If you find that they are squished or you're having difficulty putting them back together, you can put it in an empty frame, as I have done, in a checkerboard pattern, by keeping the original frames, as many as you can, together. Okay, so I've got those bees in there. I'm going to see if I can get this in the camera at all. I don't know how well. And this is the rest of the bees. They've made even a comb on the sides and the lid. So yeah, it was a good time to get them out of here. So now I can bang them in there. Okay. And banging bees around kind of pisses them off, you know. So if you're not wearing a suit, don't bang them around. And I'm kind of awkward, so maybe I shouldn't, but we'll get some of them out. Oh shit, there's water in it. Oh no. There you go, you just watched how to ruin a beehive in 2 seconds. I just poured water in there. Oh, this frickin' box. Alright, it's good I got them out of the box. Okay. I'm going to put the empty box in front of the hive. Okay. I'm going to turn this off and go find a rag and try to clean some of this up. Alright, I think that's probably something that gets edited out if it ever happens to anyone else. Yeah, I didn't know the nucleus box had collected so much water. But that's good to know, because if I'm making nukes to sell to people, I'm going to have to shelter them from the rain while they're in those boxes, or else the water will collect. So I just grabbed some paper towel because it's absorbent. Now this would be a great, this is how bees die in the winter. All the moisture evaporates to the top of the hive, condenses, and then drips down almost like rain, you know, and then they get hypothermia and die. But it's summertime, it should be fine. I just don't want it any more wet, you know, than it has to be. I don't know how much I poured in there, but it seemed to come out pretty quick and fast, so if they're wet, they'll lick it off. And it's not cold, like I said, they shouldn't go hypothermic. Try to sting me or so, I get stingers out. Yeah, so see what I mean? I'm making a video, right? I'm talking, I'm distracted, and then I'm doing dumb stuff. That's why it's hard to make bee videos if you care about your bees, but yeah, there you go. I think that just earned me an idiot from a peaceful mind, eh? Yeah. Oh well. Oh well. It doesn't look as bad as I thought it was. I don't see any more water. Alright, okay, so do not pour water on your beehive that has a colony in it. Right? The bees don't need a shower. Don't do what I just did. But yeah, I guess a word of warning from those, I don't know, it's like corrugated plastic, right? So the water must have been collecting inside the corrugations there. But yeah, I just sat the empty box down in front of the hive. Yeah, hopefully the queen's not in. I'll take a look off camera or whatever. Okay. So when they build up comb like this, you're going to add extra boxes. I just wiped out a bunch of foragers and their honey. It's a good idea when you do have your boxes open. Just try to clean up a bit, because the next time you open it'll be worse. Yeah, this box had no room, and they chose brood over honey in the middle of the flow, so that's impressive to me. I don't know how they plan such things or think about it, but that was a good decision. So honestly, with the population I have in here, I could almost put the second box on right now, but I won't. I got other stuff to do. Poured water on the inside of the lid. I'm a brainiac. So yeah, put on your inner cover. Make sure the entrance cutaway is to the front and down. And again, there's the variations to the lid. Don't get hung up on any of that. Basically, all you're doing is holding the lid up a little higher off the top box and providing another entrance for ventilation and for the bees to come in and out if they so please, which is helpful when you get higher and higher up. My colonies that have honey boxes, the bees coming in the upper entrance have honey, and the bees coming in the bottom entrance have other business in the hive. They also could have honey, but for the brood, whatever's going on, they know better than me. And that's another thing, right? See all these videos opening up their hives all the time. Just leave it alone. The bees know better than we do. No matter how many master class beekeeping courses you take or whatever nonsense, the bees still know better. Right? Even if you're David Burns, his bees still know more about what's going on than he does. Guaranteed, right? Any of us. They would never presume to know more than these guys. See, that's why I wanted to bang them in there. I don't know if I can get that on camera at all. I'm just gonna try to move the camera so it points down in front of the... See if this works. And you can see down there. Terrible video, right? There's bees everywhere. Here, I'll get a better angle and say goodbye. Alright, there you have it. Basically installing bees, all you need is to make sure you have the right equipment. Set it up next to where you've been keeping your nucleus, even if it's just for the afternoon or overnight, or the time, you know, you can even bring it straight home and transfer it straight in. It doesn't matter. But if it does sit it for any time, just sit it where you're going to install it. And it'll make things easier. Check if there's water in it. Don't turn it upside down like I did. But yeah, whatever bees are left in the box, just put the box underneath or in front of the hive entrance to colony's new home, and they will find their way. Try and make sure you see if the queen's there or not, which I wasn't very careful with, but I'll take a look at it after I get out of this suit and have the camera off. So thank you very much for making it through this clumsy video, but I just thought it might be helpful to someone, you know, installing nukes, or it was a good chance to show what nukes I make, because I will be having some available next spring. But if you like this, found any of it interesting or entertaining, give it a thumbs up. Join me on the channel as a friend and subscribe. You know, I'm always happy to meet new people, and it's been a pleasure to get to know some of you. So thank you very much again for watching the video. Hope you have a great day wherever you are, whenever you watch this. Peace.